So let's talk about Misfits. This is the company, the promotional company that you want to come back and fight on. Why choose Misfits Boxing?
Well, KSI tweeted something that annoyed me about 3 years ago. So long story short, I took his company from him. And considering that I'm the largest name on the planet, if I'm going to fight on an organization, why not fight on an organization I own a percentage of? It makes a lot of business sense. I also intend on doing my very best to make sure Misfits continues to disrupt the entire boxing space. I think there's a lot of fantastic names on Misfits. There's a lot of people who are already doing fantastically well, and they can do even better. I think we can become even bigger as an org. My intention is to make the org a lot bigger than it is and make sure everybody gets paid even more money. So why not? I mean, I'm approaching this as a businessman. I'm approaching this as a fighter. I see the potential and the future of this. I think that, celebrities fighting or influencers fighting just seems to keep growing. So Misfits have already got a fantastic platform. They're already in a great place. And I think with my help, we can take it to the next level.
Do you still have beef with KSI, or is that settled now?
There's no genuine beef. I've never met the guy. I hope he's okay. He annoyed me on Twitter, so I had to get involved in his company. That's just how it goes. That's how professionals act. It's how professionals act. You piss off a banker, before you know it, he owns your street. It's just how it works.
Yeah, best not piss him off. We'll just move the tripod this way to get a good angle for Tate. When I was doing some research for this interview of you, I went back on the old kickboxing forums from about 2010, 2011 times.
Axe Forum?
Might have been.
Yeah.
It might have been, yes. And I saw your coach Amir, and he was trying to negotiate one of your fights with some other promoters, trying to get fighters. And I think he was like, I really want to try and get Andrew paid £300. Yeah. It's like, this is what we're really pushing for. Yeah. I think it started about 150. Yeah. Let's try and get Andrew paid £300. Yeah. Is it quite a full circle moment now, knowing that I guess you're probably getting paid more than £300? But all those years ago, that was like really exciting for you.
Well, that was the very beginning of my kickboxing career. And like I said, there was no money in kickboxing back then. I think the most I ever got paid for a fight was like £100,000. And that's the most I ever got once I was world champion. At the beginning, you were lucky to get £200 or £300 just to cover your hotel and your accommodation to get there. And fighting was very different back then than it is now. I see all these people, these influencers, even the people on Misfits, they know who they're fighting and they watch tape and they prepare for their opponent and they're choosing their opponents and making sure they find someone they could beat. Back in my day, you'd just turn up to a location. You didn't even know who the guy you were fighting looked like. There'd be 30 of you in a room. You didn't even know who your opponent was until you got in the ring. You didn't know which guy it was. You'd look around and go, he's my size, he's my size, he's my size, maybe one of them. And you had no tape on anyone because, camera phones weren't as available. And, 15 years ago, it took a big setup with a camera to film sparring. No one was just sparring and filming willy-nilly. So it was a completely different environment where you just got in there and you fought. But I think it's good for your mentality. It builds a mentality where you understand that, you don't always get to have a game plan. And you don't get to always know who your opponent is. And you don't get to always prepare for a specific person. Fighters fight.